Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you are new. My name is Mickey. I am a new grad RN. I make videos about nursing, college, lifestyle, things like that. So if you are interested in those types of videos, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. Today I thought I would do a video about tips for time management. If you are somebody who has a busy lifestyle, if you are in nursing school, if you are going to school and working, some of these tips might be helpful for you. I know for me, I have a pretty busy life. I work as an RN at a local hospital. I am also in a BSN program. I am doing YouTube, obviously. So I'm pretty busy, so staying good with my time management is really important for me in order to be able to do all of the things that I want to do. So I thought I would share some of the tips that have been most helpful for me. So as I said, time management is really important if you lead a very busy lifestyle. For me, I am a very busy person, going to school, working, doing YouTube, other social media, and just having a social life. So it's important for me to manage my time appropriately. So I thought I would share 5 tips that help me stay on track and to manage my time to ensure that I'm able to get everything that I need to do and want to do done. So tip number 1 is going to be to use a planner. And this can be a paper planner or it can be a digital planner. I actually use both, and that helps me to stay on track. I have a paper planner right here. This is my favorite paper planner. I get it off of Amazon. It has a month-to-month spread, and it also has a vertical spread that you can write all of your things that you need to get done for that day in like a to-do list format. So I really love this planner. I will link it down below if I can find it. I usually get my planners in July, so this one went from July 2021 and it's going to go till July 2022, but I believe that they have them starting in the beginning of the year as well. So I definitely recommend this planner if you are looking for one. And then I also use my iPad, and I just use Google Calendar in my iPad to schedule out different appointments and things like that. I use Google Calendar a lot for time blocking. So time blocking is where you allot a certain amount of time throughout your day for different tasks. And once you've completed that amount of time, then it's time to move on to the next task. And that helps you to stay on track. It helps you to make sure you're not spending too much time on one particular task. If you would like more information on time blocking or how to use a digital planner, leave that in the comments down below and I would be happy to do a video about that. Or if you are interested in more information about how I use my paper planner, leave that in the comments down below and I can do a video on that as well. The other thing that I really like to use my planner for, like I said, my paper planner, I do a lot of to-do lists. Sometimes my to-do lists are too large to fit in the little space in my paper planner, so I will write that stuff down on a pad like this. That's kind of like a to-do list pad, and that just kind of helps me to stay on track. So there's a lot of different options in terms of the types of planners that you can use. So it's really important to figure out what works best for you and utilize that. It has to be something that you are going to be able to stick to and not just use once or twice, or you write something down and then you don't go back to it. So that's the most important thing with a planner, is finding a system that works best for you, something that you can stick to and something that you can follow. So there's a few different options, but I definitely recommend that using a planner. It is so important for time management. And it kind of rolls into tip number 2, which is be organized. So getting a planner or using a digital planner will help you in terms of organizing your to-dos and your time, but it's important to be organized in all aspects of life, because that's going to help you to stay on track easier. If you are constantly trying to find something because you didn't put it back where it was supposed to go, if you did not set yourself up for success and now you are running behind on something, organization is just such a key component of being able to stay on track and be mindful of what you are doing. So one of the things that I do to stay organized, besides using my planner, is I like to prep myself for the next day. So the night before, I will, if I'm going to work, I'm going to get my scrubs ready, I'm going to get my lunch ready, I'm going to get my coffee ready, and I know where everything is. It's always in the same spot, it's organized and ready to go, so that when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to spend a lot of time making things or looking for things or something like that. I am just ready to go. I can put my scrubs on, make my coffee, put my lunch in my lunchbox, and go out the door. So there's that old saying that failure to plan is planning to fail. So it's kind of the same thing with staying organized. If you are constantly putting something back in the same spot where it's supposed to go, you're not going to spend time looking for it because you know exactly where it's going to be. And of course, you're going to want to stay organized with your tasks and your assignments and your schedule, and that's where that planning is going to come into play with either an agenda or a digital planner or something like that. So staying organized and planning out your time is very, very important. So moving on to tip number 3, and that is to be realistic. Be realistic about the amount of time it is going to take you to do something. If you are planning out your day, if you're time blocking, if you are sitting down to do an assignment, if you're cooking dinner, you're working out, anything that you're doing, you need to be realistic with yourself about the amount of time that it's going to take you to do whatever it is that you are doing. If you're sitting down to write a paper, you can't allot yourself 30 minutes to write a 10-page paper. I mean, that's just not realistic. So you have to look at realistically the amount of time it would take you to do whatever research you need to do for that paper, to actually sit there and write it out, to review it, to make any revisions that you need to make, to rewrite sections, different things like that. Realistically, that's probably going to take you several hours over several days to get that done. So you can't just say, oh, yep, I think that's going to take 30 minutes. Oh, I think that's going to take an hour. You have to really look at everything that is involved in whatever particular task you are trying to do and try to make sure that you are planning realistically for what you are going to be doing. In the beginning, when you are trying to start managing your time more effectively and you're trying to be realistic, I would say even more so than being realistic, give yourself a cushion. Give yourself extra time than what you think, because that way if you're done a little bit early, it's not going to affect the other tasks that you have planned for that day. But if your time runs over, it could make it more difficult for the rest of the things that you have planned for that day. So it's important to make sure that you are trying to give yourself a little bit of a cushion in the beginning until you really get a good understanding of exactly how long things are going to take you. And just be mindful of the amount of time that things are taking you. So then that way when you're planning for the future, you kind of have an idea of, okay, I cooked this meal, it took me this amount of time, so that's how much time I'm going to allow myself for that task in the future. And it is also really important to ensure that you are taking breaks throughout your day. So if you're just go all throughout the day and you don't schedule in any time or any breaks, then you are just going to burn yourself out and you're not going to be as effective. Especially when you're studying, a lot of people use the 20 minutes of studying and 5 minutes of break time method. Because it is very effective. It gives you a chance to kind of decompress for a few minutes before you go back into studying, and it helps you to retain more information. So it's important throughout your day that you really are planning time realistically, allowing yourself breaks, and kind of combining that into what a realistic layout of your day is going to be. So whether you're doing time blocking, whether you're doing a to-do list, whatever it is that you're using, make sure that you are being realistic about it. If you put 100 things on your to-do list today, is it realistic that you are actually going to get them all done? Probably not. Unless they are very short, minute tasks that only take you a minute or two to get done, it's not realistic that you're going to get 100 tasks done in one day. So just keep that in mind, and, show yourself some grace in the beginning until you get used to it. But once you get the hang of it, it's really an important thing to just give yourself an appropriate amount of time and to take breaks. So moving on to tip number 4, and this tip is probably the most difficult for me, and probably a lot of you feel the same way, but it's don't procrastinate. So don't put things off until a later date. Do them as soon as possible, because if you procrastinate, then the task is just going to be building up in different ways. It's going to be building up in your mind because you keep thinking about this task that you have to get done, and it's going to be building up in the amount of time that you have to get the task done. So using the example of an assignment for school. If you have an assignment that is due for school, you should try to start on that assignment as soon as possible. Because if you wait until a couple days before that assignment is due, now your time management is going to be completely thrown off, because you're going to have to dedicate so much time in the next couple of days to get that assignment done, and that's just not good time management. So if you start that assignment from day 1 of the semester when you find out about it, and do a little bit each week or each day until it is due, then that way you're not having that pressure at the end where you're trying to complete something in such a short amount of time. And you're going to feel less stressed, and you're probably going to have a better assignment because you're not rushing to try to get it completed. So procrastination is something that we are all usually guilty of, or at least most of us. I guess I shouldn't say all, because I guess there are some people out there who are probably pretty good at not procrastinating. I, however, am not one of them, even though I'm sitting here telling you all not to procrastinate. But no one's perfect. It is something that I definitely have been trying to work on, because I have realized that if I get something done instead of putting it off, like, I just feel so much better. I hate having something like weighing over me, knowing that I have to do it, and then I just get so anxious and stressed about it, and I just keep putting it off more and more because of that. So I have learned just trying to do things as they come up, like, it really, really does help. And so our last tip, tip number 5, is probably the most important, and that is prioritization and saying no. This one is also probably pretty difficult for most of you. I know it's difficult for me, the saying no part. I tend to overextend myself so much, and then I'm just overwhelmed and I can't get everything that I want and need to get done. So it's important to set boundaries and set limits for yourself, and say no to things that you simply cannot do. And you have to decide what is important to you, and that's where prioritization comes in. So you have to pick and choose in your life, what are your priorities, what are your need to do's, and what are your want to do's. So if you are working and you're going to school, and those are your 2 priorities right now because you really want to get that degree and you really want to do well in your career, then maybe your social life may not be as high of a priority. That's not to say that you can never do anything fun, you can't go out with your friends or your family or whatever, but you have to put those other priorities at a higher level, and you may have to say no to other commitments sometimes. And that's fine. It's fine to say no. You have to set your boundaries, and people are only going to accept your boundaries if you accept them yourself. And I know that that can be really challenging for a lot of people, because we want to please other people and we don't want to feel like we're letting other people down when we say no. But we're only letting ourselves down if we take on more than we can handle and we're not doing a good job at whatever it is that we're doing because we've stretched ourselves too thin. So saying no in life is something that does take time to get comfortable with. I'm not even 100% comfortable with it, but with practice it does get easier. I have learned that, and it is really important because prioritizing your time is a key component in time management, and you can't prioritize things without saying no to certain things. And it doesn't have to be the same things all the time. Your priorities can change depending on what you have going on in life. So that is a fluid, it's ever-changing type situation. So just keep that in mind, that it doesn't always have to be the same things that you're saying no to. And just because you said no this time doesn't mean you have to say no next time. And just because you said yes last time doesn't mean you have to say yes this time. So you have to kind of do a little bit of soul searching, figure out what's important to you and what is important for your time, because you only have 24 hours in a day. No matter what you do, you're never going to have more time than that. So making sure that you are setting yourself up for a life that you are happy with is how you choose what is a priority for you. And that's why I said this is probably the most important tip out of all 5, is because it's really you deciding what you want your life to be and what is a priority for your life. And there is no right or wrong answer. It's whatever you feel is going to give you the most joy and provide you with the best life possible. So just keep that in mind. So those are my top tips for time management. I hope that you all liked them and that you found them helpful. I am still working on some of them myself. So as long as you're working towards your goals, then that is what is most important, and you're doing a great job. If you like this video, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Like I said, I make videos that are similar to this about nursing, college, and lifestyle, different things like that. And I would love to have you as a subscriber. But thank you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!